All right, it should be recording. So when you're getting on early, you're setting the standard for what presentations and trainings would be. If you're in a live meeting, if you're in a hotel meeting, there's something called the holding room, right? And the holding room is where everybody assembles with their guests before the doors open, if you will, proverbial doors open before the presentation starts. This gives an opportunity for us to just kind of make the guests feel comfortable, offer them a beverage, a bottle of water, or whatever it may be, but also to introduce them to people who may be, in a like industry, a like field, some commonality there. It's all about making your guests feel comfortable. Same thing with training. I did hear, and this is great, Linda, that you have a representative that's on the training this morning. Welcome to the training, him or her. I think it's a guy. I see him in the corner there, but welcome to the training. But what that's designed to do also is to, introduce us to them to us, and make everybody feel comfortable. It's all about making people feel comfortable. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. So you're doing better, getting on a little bit earlier, and make sure you interact with each other. Also, make sure that during the week, you create the value for people who are part of your team to get on these training calls. They're going to become more and more and more important. Today's training is all about, building and production. We're not getting into how to log in and all that stuff. We're going to have to send in a help ticket. But today is all about production. It's all about building your income. It's about building your business. It's a prelude to all out massive production. It's going to be more and more important every single week for your teams to get on the calls. All of you are always on training. And I appreciate that. I respect that. I really do, more than you know. The next step is to make sure that your team is on training. Now, how do you get your team on training? You have to create a value for them to get on training. Not only do you have to create a value for them to get on training, you actually have to, once they're on training, like some of you have to create a value for them to pay attention. There may be people who I don't see their screen. They could be washing dishes, washing the car. They could be doing all kind of stuff. That's not going to benefit you in building your business. We try to take an hour or so out every week to teach you how to not have to wash your car, but have somebody else to wash it, or not have to do this, that, and the other, because you're making enough money for somebody else to do it. So that's what these trainings are about, and we want to make sure that we recognize that. Now, today, what I'm going to talk about a little bit, and getting back into production, I'm kind of going back to some of the basics. And I want to talk a little bit about home meetings and virtual meetings. That's going to be very critical. This is old information for most of you, but you need to know it to, first of all, either reintroduce to yourself, or if you have new people, you want to be able to teach this right away. You need to get people into the business right away. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull up some slides. Again, I know this is some old information to some of you, but it's important for everybody. So let me just pull this up real quick, and we'll go through this. All right, you should see my slide. Everybody see my slide? They got the 1Voice logo on it.
Yes, we see.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You can see it.
Just wanted to make sure. So I want to talk about something that, if you haven't heard this before, some of you've heard it. These are some of the basics of building the network marketing business. These are some of the basics that will help you build a huge organization and get money as an issue out of the way. Some of these slides are old, and it's because these are some of the slides that I used, or some of the information that I used many years ago to build my company, to build not 1Voice. I'm talking about when I was in the field as a rep. This is some of the information that I did and disseminated to my team to build my team to what ultimately was over 50,000 people in 18 different countries. It is very simplistic, but it's very duplicatable, but you gotta do it. You have to do it. We're not in a social and savings club, even though we love each other and we're family. At the end of the day, we're building a business. So there are some fundamentals that must take place in your business in order for you to become successful. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about PBRs and VBRs. What are PBRs? What are VBRs? If you're looking at your screen, A PBR is just a private business reception. Okay. It's basically a home meeting. A VBR is a virtual business reception. It is, as it says, it is a presentation, but it's done virtually through Zoom or, go to meetings or whatever it may be, but it's a virtual presentation. Both of these are critical to your business when you're first getting started. And as I said, we're going back to some basics. Now that we've gone through, all the login stuff, I think everybody got the debit card stuff sorted out and all of those things. If you haven't, just sent in a help ticket through support. But now we're talking about the basics of production. So the first thing I want you to know in understanding a private business reception or a virtual business reception is just a home meeting. It is a home meeting, whether it's done virtually at home or whether it's done physically at home where people are there. But these meetings give your prospect an opportunity to take a look at 1Voice and evaluate what we're doing in a non-threatening type environment. Most of these people you already know. They may be friends, they may be relatives, but it's in a they're not in an office per se. Sometimes they may be in your home, right? And it's a non-threatening environment, so they don't have to feel nervous. They don't have to be suited and booted. They just have to be there to hear something that you want to present to them. They should be easy to invite because most of these people you do know, or the people that you're presenting for, they already know these people. They should be comfortable. Like I said, they don't have to wear suits and all of this other kind of stuff because it's a comfortable environment. In a lot of cases, it's a social environment because it may be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. Okay, so understanding that's what a PBR and a VBR, what they are. It is very, but it is crucial to your business. If you're not doing this, and if you have not been doing this, and I know we kind of shut down a lot of the PBRs during COVID and was basically doing the VBRs, but now we want to be able to do both of them. We want to make sure we do that. And even though you're seeing these acronyms, when you're talking to people, make sure they understand what VBR and PBR means, because we're not trying to impress them by what we know. We want them to understand. It's just a lot of words to type on the screen. So a private business reception or a virtual business reception. And the reason, again, it's called private is because typically it's not open, or it's not open to the entire company. It is just open to your people, to your friends, to your network, whatever it may be. Now, the purpose of these meetings, the private business reception, physical or virtual, is to launch your new business, or if you have a new recruit, someone that you just brought into business, it is to launch a new recruit's business. But I cannot stress this enough. You're going to hear me say this time and time again. This is crucial. This is going to be crucial to your business moving forward. If you have not been doing this, even if you've been in the business 20 years, even if you came into business the same day I came into business, right? You want to start this right away, right now. Linda, I see that again, you said you had a new guest, a new rep. I don't know if he's brand new or whatever the case may be, but I want you to pay close attention to this because this is something that you would be doing for this new person right away. A PBR or a virtual business reception, one or the other. But again, it's for new businesses or your new reps business, okay? Now, where do you hold these VBRs? Where do you hold these PBRs? It doesn't matter. You can do it at your home or your apartment. Some people don't like to have people at their home, but a home environment is a good place to have. Obviously, we're talking about the home meetings, the PBR and the VBR. I want to be able to distinguish even doing a virtual meeting at your home. There are instances where you may have just come into the business yesterday and you're not proficient yet in doing the business in terms of presenting the business. That's okay. You should be proficient enough to invite 2 or 3 or 5 people to your home or to an apartment, and they can actually see the presentation done virtually. This is a combination of these two meetings. It's a private business reception where people are physically in your home, But if you're not proficient in doing a presentation, you don't know how to do it, you're scared to do it, whatever, then Tuesday night, we already know this, Tuesday night, there's going to be a presentation done by the company. With this presentation, you can invite 2 or 3 or 5 people into your home and set up a TV, connect your laptop or, your phone. They got the screen sharing and all this other kind of stuff. And you can actually stream the meeting Tuesday night virtually to those people that are at your home. Conversely, if you know how to do a presentation, you can still invite people virtually to a Zoom meeting and do a VBR. It is up to you just based on where you are in the business and your level of skill. But the key is you have to do meetings. I want to ask you guys a rhetorical question. I don't want you to answer because I don't want you to embarrass yourself and I don't want you to embarrass me. But how many of you this past week, did any kind of meeting? Any kind of meeting, home meeting, virtual meeting, any kind of meeting you did, you sponsored, you did. How many of you did a meeting the week before, the month before, the year before? How many of you are doing meetings? If you're not doing meetings of any kind, then you're doing your business a disservice. It's not going to build. I can tell you emphatically, your business will not build if you're not putting people in front of the opportunity, either live or virtual. It's not going to build. We have so many tools now where you can build your business and you can build a hugely successful business, even if you came into the opportunity today. So I'm going to share with you additionally how you can make that happen. So you're looking at your screen here. You got home meetings. You can do it at an apartment. You can do it at a clubhouse if you don't want to bring people into your home. You can go to a restaurant. They have some restaurants like Shoney's. I know they used to have Shoney. I don't know if they still have them. But in the back, they have like little meeting rooms. You can go back there and have little meetings. You have office buildings where some people can bring people to an office, a library. I know they do that very well in Atlanta. And we're obviously talking about an online meeting. Here's why there is no excuse not to do a meeting, whether it's a home meeting or a virtual meeting. I'm going to do a new share. So hold on for a second. I'm going to do a new share and show you why there's no excuse. So can everybody see my screen where it has the website?
Yes.
Okay. So even if
Yes.
you cannot present, even if you're not proficient in presenting, even if you don't know how to present, you're scared, you don't know what to say, you can still get people to your home or still get people online or stream or all this technology and have someone present for you. I told you that we're doing a live presentation this upcoming Tuesday, but anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all you have to do is go to your website, which is where I am now, go under opportunity and click webinar presentation. It is going to tell you the next presentation that's about to happen. In 12 minutes and 4 seconds, there will be a presentation. I will be doing this presentation. So wonder if, and by the way, this rotates every 15 minutes. So wonder if you invited some people to your home, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second, but you invited some people to your home. You got 2 to 5 people at your house. And you connect your laptop or, some people got the smart TVs where you can actually get online on the TV. So you get online and you go to your website and you click this button for the next presentation. So you guys can chit chat for the next 11 minutes and 25 seconds and know that in that time frame, I'm going to be coming in and I'm going to do a presentation for you. It is a full scale, up-to-date presentation. So what is your excuse to not do a presentation? When you have a presentation that's going to take place this Thursday by either Mr. Landrum or Mr. Doucette, or 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty much. There's a presentation every 15 minutes. It is up to date. You see this says Saturday, June the 10th, 11:30 a.m. In the next 10 plus minutes, it's going to be a presentation, very professionally done. It is designed to present to the highest level of people without fail. There's no reason that anyone should not be doing a presentation. I don't care who it is. I don't care what the situation is. So understand that those are different forms of the presentation. Now, I'm gonna get back to my slide. So when you're looking at this, um, these are the locations that we talked about. So there's no excuse not to have a presentation. Now, there are two types of meetings. I want you to pay close attention to this. There are two types of meetings. There's a urgent meeting, PBR, VBR. There's an urgent meeting, and there is a planned meeting. So what's the difference between the two? An urgent meeting is between 2 to 5 people that you're going to hold within the next 24 to 48 hours. If you enroll somebody today, Saturday, an urgent PBR means that you're going to have 2 to 5 people to your home or on a virtual meeting either tomorrow or Monday at the latest. Hear what I'm saying? Or it could be even earlier, either today or tomorrow or Monday at the latest. But within 24 to 48 hours, you got 2 to 5 people that's coming to your house or virtually that you need to have a meeting. Let me tell you something. If you're bringing somebody into business and you're not doing this for them, shame on you. Shame on you. And I don't mean that to be nasty, but here's the point I'm saying. When you're bringing people in, and I'm adamant about this, One Voice is not just about making money. We're about the empowerment of people. That's truly what we're about. And if you bring somebody into business and you're not giving them the benefit of all that you have and everything that we've worked for with this particular company, you're doing that person a disservice, because it's not just all about you. It's about how can we help other people. And in order to help other people, then we have to be able to service them properly. We, One Voice, pays you a fast start bonus. Check this out. We pay you a fast start bonus for helping you get your new person qualified. See, they're not getting the money for coming in. You're getting the money. Why are you getting the money? It's to help them get their qualifications. That's what the fast start bonus is about. You're helping them get their $125 in PV. You're helping them getting started. You're helping them with their urgent presentation right away. That means 2 to 5 people right away. These are people that they can call just today. Hey, look, I ran into something today. I'm fired up about it. I'm excited. I don't know a whole lot of information about it, but I got somebody that can explain it in more detail. Can you meet me at my house tonight at 7 o'clock? It's only going to take about an hour. Can you meet me tonight at 7 o'clock? And you do that. Can you meet me tomorrow night at 7 o'clock? Or, I'm going to have a meeting tonight and tomorrow. Which one is better for you? Get them to a meeting tonight. Get them to a meeting tomorrow night. If you can't do it, if the person who brought you in can't do it, remember, I just showed you a 24-hour webinar. You can just pull it up on your screen. Even if you, let's say some people are like, well, I don't know how to pull it up on my screen. I don't know how to connect my TV and all it is. Look, with 5 people, you can get your phone, flip it the long way, and go to your website and show that presentation. All y'all just look at the phone or invest in an iPad or, notepad or anything that can show this presentation. There are no more excuses, guys. There are literally no more excuses. You got to do this. If you've been in the business, I don't care if you've been in the business all 19 years. If you've been in the business, now is the time to start your PBR. I don't mean next week. I'm talking about today. Call you 2 to 5 people. Either you present, your upline present, the webinar present, but somebody has to present tonight or tomorrow. Now, some people are going to look at me like I'm crazy, but look, we're building a business. We're building a bit. There are no more excuses. There are no more excuses. We have effectively, Mr. Landrum, Mr. Doucette, myself, we've hired consultants, we've hired technical experts, we've hired legal experts. We spent a lot of time and a lot of money. We have taken away every single excuse, there are no more. People are trying to create stuff, but there are no more excuses. You should be doing a PBR tonight or tomorrow. Everybody, okay? Now, if you're bringing somebody again, getting back to the slides, you want to do this within the first 24 to 48 hours. You have to create the value for them to go ahead and do it, because some people are going to say, well, I don't know if I'm available tomorrow. No. You just kicked out how much is it? $199 to come into the business. I think it's $199, so much in my head. $199 to come into this opportunity. We're talking about changing your life. We're talking about changing the lives of other people. It is a priority that you do this meeting sometime today or tomorrow, sometime within the next 24 to 48 hours. So find an hour. I don't care if it's morning, noon, or night. Find an hour over the next 24 to 48 hours that we can do this meeting. What this does, guys, it helps your new recruit experience immediate success. The best way to have a thriving and successful organization is to help your organization become successful right away, immediate success. There's no more immediate success than 24 to 48 hours. You get your people having immediate success. This also creates more recruits and more reps in your organization that you're going to build for your planned meeting. Remember I said you have two types of meetings, the urgent meeting and your planned meeting? Well, now guess what? Here's your planned meeting. Your planned meeting is a little bit bigger. Some cases it's a lot bigger. I hope everybody paying attention. If you're paying attention, click the raise your hand button. All right. All right. I like to see all them hands. Y'all making me happy. So your planned meeting, that's the 5 to 25 people. Here's the difference. You're going to hold your planned meeting somewhere within the first 7 days. Remember, and if you're taking notes, your urgent meeting is within 24 to 48 hours. And I'm fully expecting every single person within the sound of my voice and your organizations to have an urgent PBR within the next 24 to 48 hours. You could get 2 people that I see somebody with the hand raised. I don't know if you was acknowledging when I said it earlier or if you had a question, but if so, just I'll follow up with you. But anyway, you can get 2 to 5 people today or tomorrow just because. If you can't, you need some friends. Get 2 to 5 people. I'm fully expecting this to happen. And look, guys, we're not playing with this business. We're not playing with this business anymore moving forward. Like I told you, we've eliminated all excuses. So when you get to your planned PBR, which is going to be between now and next Saturday, sometime within the next 7 days, what this is going to start to do is going to start to create momentum in your organization. I remember when I started doing this in my business, when I was in the industry at ACN back in the day. And I remember doing this, but it wasn't so formal. We didn't know that this was a thing, right? We were just told to invite people to your house and then invite people to a meeting and then invite people. We were just told to do these type things. It wasn't as sophisticated as what I'm sharing with you. So I remember inviting people to the crib, and we just actually, I'm not encouraging y'all to do this. I'm gonna tell you what we did, and then I'm gonna tell you what not to do, what we did that you should not do. But we just got a few of the fellas, a few of our girls and friends, and we just kind of had a little party. We had a little party, but in the midst of that party, we talked about the business. Very non-threatening, but people were there to party. But we didn't know any better, right? And we like in the middle of that party, hey, look, y'all need to hear what we got to say. As it got better, and as we got more proficient in doing these meetings, then we would do meetings at the clubhouse. I've referenced this meeting before many times, but there was a meeting we had in Montgomery when I was in the industry at ACN, just getting started. And there was a meeting at a clubhouse. There used to be right across from, for those of you in Montgomery, right across from Montgomery Mall, there used to be a Pizza Hut back in the day. Behind that Pizza Hut, there's was an apartment complex behind that Pizza Hut. I don't know if the apartment's still there. Right now, it's like a Simply Southern in that area. There's a Hope Bank and all of that. But right in that area, there was an apartment. And we did a meeting at that apartment, myself and my business partner, Montreal. And we invited people to that clubhouse. Man, this thing was packed. It was that clubhouse was packed because we had talked about how we're going to help people make money, how we're going to do all these things. Probably was saying all the wrong things, but we were working it. We were doing what we need to do. So we went to that clubhouse. Montreal and I pulled up, and this thing was like, wall to wall, pillar to pillar, post to post. Like, man, this is crazy. And it was so many people there. But, we did what we were supposed to do. We did a meeting. This was a planned PBR. We did the meeting. We talked to people, but we had already had a predetermination that each one of us, we were going to take 5 people and we were going to work with those people directly. Mind you, to get involved in the opportunity at that time, it was $500, $499. So we were like, look, you know, Montreal, you're going to get 5 people. I'm going to get 5 people. We're going to work with these people and we're going to help them build. At the end of that presentation, we told these individuals, hey, look, you know, the first 5 people that come up with their check, I tell you how long ago it was, come up with their check. The first 5 people, you're going to work with Mr. Montreal Jackson. The next 5 people, you're going to work with Mr. Sam Oren. We're going to sit down with you and show you how to build your business. I'm telling you guys, this is a true story. We had 88 people sign up that night at $499. We only wanted 5 each. People were coming up. I'm telling you, they run into the front of this thing. They were trying to fill out the check while they were running to the front of the room so they could be one of the ones. We signed up 88 people at $499. I'll never forget that night. I'll never forget that night. We had another meeting in New Orleans, a planned meeting in New Orleans, and it was Miss Dorothy Mercadale and I forget the other lady's name, but they had invited people. They sent out flyers. They sent out invitations, all of this kind of stuff to this meeting, right? New Orleans, Louisiana. This is another one I'll never forget. And I was driving to the hotel. This is at a hotel meeting. And I'm like, man, there must be some kind of, I don't know, event or something going on at this hotel because traffic was crazy. Cars was around the building. It was just a madhouse. And I'm like, what's really going on? And come to find out that all of these cars and all of this traffic was there for our meeting. Guys, Miss Mercadale, I don't know if she's on the phone or not, but she can attest to this. At that meeting, we had 300, check this out, not reps, not bodies, guests. We had 300 guests. The reason I know that to be the case, because we had 300 chairs that were set up in the room for the meeting. And I remember telling Miss Mercadale, I can't think of the other lady's name for the life of me, but I remember telling them.
Cleo Boyd.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Stanley. Cleo Boyd. I remember telling Miss Mercadale and Cleo Boyd, look, get all of the reps out of the chairs, get them out, let them stand up on the wall, let them stand in the hallway, wherever they need to stand, because we need to get the guests in the room. And every single chair in the room was filled and it was only guests. All the reps had to stand up. 300 guests. Why? Because those guests came from this particular process, from 2 to 5 people, from 5 to 25 people. Then you take those 25 people and guess what happens when you duplicate the same PBR, VBR process with those 25 people, where they're doing 24 to 48 hour urgent meetings, where they're doing 5 to 25 people at a planned meeting. That's how we got 300 guests there. That's the power of these planned meetings. So over the next 7 days, you guys want to hold your planned meeting. This is going to create that momentum that becomes irrevocable. People wonder why, you know, Ms. Mercadale not only hit the top position in this version of 1Voice, but and also the first version when we called it regional vice president, because these principles, we use these same principles, Mr. Doucette, Mr. Landrum, Mr. Amir Akbar, all of the Akbar, everybody. This was the same system that was used. Now that we perfected the process, we are perfecting the success machine. Now we got to go to work. So again, I'm going to keep saying this, over the next 24 to 48 hours, every single person should be doing an urgent PBR or VBR, every single person. Now, what happens is your potential guests must be contacted. They must be invited. They must be confirmed. You got to do the work, guys. You got to do the work. Here's what has been happening in the old iteration of 1Voice. Not even we, I'm going to take the responsibility for this. This is my fault, my responsibility. I'm apologize, but I'm not going to do it anymore. I built a culture of dependent reps. I built a culture of dependent reps where you would call people to do everything for you, where you would wait on the corporate before you do a meeting, where you would, you know, all the things. I just built a culture of dependent reps, not independent reps, but dependent reps. You were waiting on us to do everything. Not anymore. We can't do that because we're doing you a disservice to allow you to be dependent. I just shared with you, if you just logged in, I just shared with you how you can do a presentation today. Even if you just came into the business, there's a webinar every 15 minutes. And if you can't do it on your TV, do it on your phone. There's no excuses. There's no excuse for every single person if you're doing the business. And here's what I want to plant in your mindset. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to plant in your mindset, positively and negatively. I want to plant this in your mindset. I want to plant this in your mindset that if you're not doing a presentation over the next 24 to 48 hours of some sort, urgent a plan or some sort, I want to plant in your mindset that you're not doing the business. You're fooling yourself. You're not doing the business. You're not fooling us because we see all the statistics. You're fooling yourself. But also on a positive note, I want to plant in your mind that if you are doing a meeting, even the effort is important. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, you are totally engaged as an independent representative to build your business. It is just that simple. It is just that simple. The fact that when people get on these training calls or when your people get on a presentation, that's not productivity. That's activity. That's activity. That's not productivity. That's okay. We want them on there. I'm not fussing. This is not a fussing. I want to make a distinction between where you were and where you're going to be. What productivity is how you actually take advantage of the things that you have done with your activity. So I sent out, what do you call it, a tweet or whatever you call it yesterday on Facebook, where I said, hey, look, we're going to be on this training tomorrow. I'm challenging everybody to get 2 people on there. I'm not saying that just for my health. I'm not saying that to entertain y'all. I'm saying that so you can get your people on this training because I know what we're about to talk about. And I know how important this training is. I know how important this particular training is for the psychology of what you need to do. Yeah, it's going to be recorded, but guess what? Dependent reps won't even look at the recording. Let me say that again. Dependent reps won't even go back and look at the recording of this. Remember I told y'all 2 weeks ago that we can see everybody that log in? Guess what? We can tell the people who they're still not even logging into your back office. You cannot be seeing these recordings if you're not logging into your back office. And we know that. We'll play with you. We'll be your friend. We'll hee and ha ha. But at the end of the day, we know you're not doing the business. So I want to put it in your mindset. Either you're doing it or you're not. Either way, it's okay. If you don't want to do the business actively, then just actively get on auto ship. Get your 20%, get some people to get your 20% and be an active rep, not productive. That's okay. You get free will. Even God gives you free will to do what you want to do. We're giving you free will too. Do what you want to do, but we want some productivity moving forward. That's what this is all about with your planned PBR and your planned VBR. Now, with your home meeting, home library, whatever it is, you want to have content available to view, whether that is some type of PDF you printed out, or it could even be something online. It could be QR code, whatever it is. You want to have some kind of documentation. Documentation beats conversation. Okay. Even if you do it online, it doesn't matter. It's just giving people a level of comfort that what we say to be true is the case. We are a legit company. We've been doing this going on 19 years and we've had massive success and the best is yet to come. Keep the environment casual though. When we're talking about a private business reception, keep it casual. You don't have to come to a home meeting suited and booted, right? You don't have to come to an office or a library, well, maybe different library, if it's a professional type meeting. But if you're doing it in a PBR environment, you don't have to be suited and booted. Leave chairs stacked against the wall because you always want to create the atmosphere or the thought that, more people are there than what you expect. And it's less threatening to people. All of this is psychological, okay? With the private business reception setup, you want to keep this process duplicatable. Remember what I just said. You've come into the business within 24 to 48 hours. You brought someone into the business, I should say. Within 24 to 48 hours, you have held an urgent PBR for them. Now check this out. Follow me psychologically. You brought somebody in today, Saturday. Sometime between tonight and at the latest Monday, so somewhere in the 24 to 48 hour time frame, you've had an urgent PBR for this person. Well, guess what? Sometime between Monday and Wednesday, that person will have had an urgent PBR. So in order for that person to have the success, it must be duplicatable. It has to be simple. They can't come into the business Monday or today and have their own PBR by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in that time frame. If it's some kind of elaborate setup and all of this fancy catering and all of this stuff, yeah, you may be able to do this. You may be able to serve shrimp cocktail and all this fancy stuff. Because a lot of times people want to show off their house and impress people what they got, but it's not duplicatable. We don't care about showing off your house. We care about you duplicating your business. We're talking about now, instead of paying for that house, paying $2,500 a mortgage or whatever mortgage is these days, we're paying $2,500 a month for your house to show that house off. We're trying to show you how to pay that house off. There's a difference. And once we can get that, especially as the Black community, once we can understand the value of ownership, then these things become so much more powerful in how we're going to build. So you have to be duplicatable. We're going to say the same things. We're going to do the same things. We're going to look at the same sites. We're going to have the same verbiage. We're going to do all of these things that are very, very super important. So when you're having this reception, there may be foods, there may be refreshments, there may be sodas, there may be finger foods, there may be fruit, there may be whatever it is. But here's what I'm suggesting. I'm going to change my slide because back in the day, we used to say, keep the cost somewhere around $20. You can't get a tray of fruit for $20. You can't get a tray of fruit for $20 no more. I went to Publix and they got a little thing of fruit, just a little plastic thing of fruit that was 20 something dollars. So you might have to boost that up $25. But anyway, you want to keep the cost low. Preferably not serve alcohol. It's just preferably not serve alcohol, but then also have the enrollment supplies or things that you need there. In this case, your website and all that other kind of stuff. Note what I have here in bold. Have products there or coffee. Have products there and or your coffee. So look, you guys should be starting to stock up on a few products and a few bags of coffee or coffee pods, K-cups, whatever you want to call them, right? Because you're going to start to do more home meetings. So get you 2 or 3 products, get you a couple of bags of coffee, a couple of coffee pods. This is just for your demonstration, not just for demonstration. I take that back. You can also resell these products. A lot of people don't know this, but when you buy these products, these commissionable products, you can give them away, but you can also sell those products. That is legal within our terms and conditions. You can resell those products, and you can resell it for whatever you want to. That's not our business. You got your commission on it, but you can resell those products for whatever you want to sell it for, the coffee, the products, the supplements. Y'all might want to shoot an email to Mr. Doucette. And I'm going off the top of my head, but I know some of y'all know that I told you that we rebranded a lot of the products that, so we had the same brand. Remember I showed y'all the supplements last week? So we had the same look and feel. And by the way, we're about to, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to add, I think, another 15, 20 more products. So we'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 supplements. But anyway, we wanted to have one clean, simple brand. We still have a ton of other products, same products, just a different brand. If you want to order some of those products for your home meetings, your PBRs, your VBRs, if you want to order some of those, you may want to contact Mr. Doucette. We may be able to get you some of those at a reduced cost. So again, it's the same product, no big deal. Just a thought, just something came to my mind. But anyway, I digress. Now, with this coffee, I'm kind of interjecting something as I'm thinking about these PBRs. Look, you guys can start to have now, you can start to have live streaming parties. You guys can now start to have coffee parties. I know y'all have heard, everybody heard of a tea party. Well, you can have a coffee party. And by the way, just based on the suggestion of Ms. Samira Akbar, we're looking into teas as well. But you can have right now, you can have a coffee party. Get you a couple of bags of the coffee, invite some people over to a home meeting, right? And serve coffee for coffee drinkers. Even if people that don't drink coffee, have them taste it. That Cinnabon coffee tastes good, tastes like a Cinnabon. That hazelnut coffee tastes good. Even the French vanilla, all these, we got 51 different versions of coffee. But you can sell coffee even if you didn't talk about anything else. You could build $1 million business with just the coffee now. You could build $1 million business with the coffee. You can have a coffee party. You have a coffee brunch. Every opportunity you get, you should be serving and sharing your product. If people want to gift that, Father's Day coming up, when is it, next week or the week after, whenever it is, send these jokers some bags of coffee. Every daddy should get a bag of coffee. You don't drink coffee, give it to your granddaddy. You don't drink coffee, give it to your great granddaddy. But everybody need a bag of coffee. Don't give them a tie. Don't give them no deodorant. Whatever y'all give these daddies, give them a bag of coffee. Promote your business. Sell your business, right? So you should be having these parties, coffee parties, all this stuff right away. So anyway, that's what they're set up for the private business reception. Again, remember, even if you're having a private business reception where you're presenting or where the TV or the phone or something is presenting, the process is the same. It is just how the presentation is going to be viewed by the guests. There's two types of people you'll want to invite. The easiest people, that's for your 2 to 5. That's for your urgent PBRs. Y'all need to remember this. I don't know who's doing training out there. I know Linda Johnson is doing training with her team. I know Aisha is doing training with the team. I don't know everybody, so if I'm not calling you, don't forgive me. I don't know, but I do know those individuals. Train your team on this information. When I'm asking you, when I'm talking to you guys from this point forward, when I say what's an urgent PBR, everybody should be able to tell me that's a PBR that takes place within the first 24 to 48 hours of your new rep. You're going to invite 2 to 5 people, blah, blah, blah. And those people are going to be your easiest people who are open-minded and easy to influence in terms of coming to see your opportunity. Then when you're talking about your best people, that's more so for the plan. Well, what's the plan PBR? Plan PBR is going to be held within your first 7 days in the business. You're going to look for somewhere between 5 to 25 people at your home, an office, library, wherever it is. These are your best people. You will need a 3-way call to assist in inviting people to your planned PBR. If you don't know what a 3-way call is, get with your upline. Make sure they explain that to you. Those of you who are training, I want you to train on urgent and planned PBR. Start training on that today. Have them go back and look at this video, but train on that today because this is now the new norm. It's the old norm, but it's the new norm. It is of the expectations, okay? Now, with this PBR and VBR, you want to confirm your guests 24 hours before the meeting. Obviously, if you're having it tonight, that doesn't apply, but you want to confirm your guests. Always confirm your guests. Don't leave it to people to just say, okay, I'm going to show up and expect them to show up. People lie all the time. People lie all the time. Reinforce it. If people are going to lie to you, make them lie to you over and over and over again by you confirming. You coming, right? You coming, right? You coming, right? So if they're going to lie to you, they're going to have to lie to you 4 times because you're going to continue to confirm. If it's a situation where you drive, go pick them up. Here's something that we also need to get better at. And that's asking your guests to invite a friend or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever. But asking your guests to bring somebody, even if it's their husband or wife, even if it's whoever it may be, ask your guests to invite somebody. My podcast that I'm going to do this upcoming Thursday, the title of the podcast is Love is Not Enough. Okay. Without getting into the podcast, that's the title, Love is Not Enough. A part of what I'm going to talk about in that podcast in Love is Not Being Enough, there's something that's a part of the relationship that's bigger than love. One of those things that I'm going to talk about is shared interests. Okay, shared interests. So when I say on this podcast Thursday, love is not enough, and I talk about shared interests, that means you can love somebody, but if you don't have something in common, if you're not working towards something in common, some kind of common goal, then things can start to drive you apart because there are no shared interests. So there may be an opportunity when you're talking about inviting someone, invite the husband, invite the wife. That's a shared interest, okay? I set you guys up a couple of weeks ago by asking what the SWAT team was because I knew I was going to talk about what the SWAT team is today. You should know now what the SWAT team is. And I can't remember who it was who gave the acronym, but it's Special Winning Attitude Team. Now, a couple of weeks ago when I talked to you about the SWAT team, the reason I said that was important, I wanted to get you in the mindset of what today is about. With your PBR, whether it's done through virtual presentation or live presentation, you want to have people who are on your team to support your PBR. Even if they don't have anybody, and hopefully they do, but even if they don't have anybody, you want them to support, you want the SWAT team to support. I'm going to show you why in a second. And I told you guys last week, again, I was setting you up for this week. I said, no matter what I'm doing, I was going to get on the Tuesday meeting this past Tuesday because I wanted to be a part of the SWAT team. I wasn't there as founder. I wasn't there to say anything. I just wanted to be on as a part of the SWAT team to support that presentation. By the way, if y'all gonna be dependent and not get people on these Tuesday night meetings, we're not gonna do them. We're not gonna do them. We're just gonna rely on people to be independent and do their PBR and VBRs. We're not, it takes too much for Mr. Landry, Mr. Doucette, myself, Linda, whoever's doing presentations to get prepared, do a presentation, and you don't invite guests. That's a perfect opportunity for you to take advantage of the PBR. But I put this on everything. If you're not going to participate, if you're not going to be on the SWAT team, or if you're not inviting guests, then we're not going to do it. We're not going to be wasting our time moving forward. We can't do that anymore. So, I was in Florida, I ain't gonna tell you what I was doing. I ain't tell you about, but I was at Florida, but I logged into that presentation. I sure did. Walking down Disney, and I logged in. Why? Because being on that SWAT team is important. I don't care if you're founder, I don't care if you're crown ambassador, I don't care who you are. Either you're doing the meeting or you're supporting the meeting. Anything less is unacceptable, right? So, and again, we're not fussing, we're setting the standards. We're setting the expectations. If I'm going to be where I am and I'm going to log in to be on the SWAT team, then you need to do that as well. So how do you take advantage of that? Well, some things you want to do in terms of preparing. We always start on time. That goes without saying. We don't do anything beyond starting on time. You want to prep and introduce the host. If you're having a home meeting, do an introduction of the host. Thank everybody for coming. Identify some of the leaders that are there that may be a part of the SWAT team. Edify the presenter. All of these things that I'm talking about, we've discussed in the past. If you don't know what they are, get with your upline so they can explain to you what edification is. And then have someone introduce the presenter. Again, this is whether it's virtual or a live PBR. Then the presenter, obviously, they're going to reverse edification. They're going to edify the host and the presenter. Excuse me. They explains the big picture of why you're there. Explain to the people why they're there. Create that value as to why they're there. Yeah, we're in a social environment. Yeah, we're having fun. Yeah, we may have finger foods and all that other kind of stuff. But we're here to change some lives. We're here to change some lives. So you paint that big picture. The presenter going to use slides to further explain the big picture. It could be your PowerPoint presentation. It can be a flipboard. I don't care if you write on the wall. It doesn't matter. At this point, you got to do what you got to do. Write on the wall. Get your poster, put it on the wall. Write it. I don't care how you do it, but present. And if you're not proficient in presenting, then make sure you log in on your computer, your TV, smart TV, and share the opportunity. So when you start to close out, you want to have a notion similar. You don't have to do this verbatim, but you can go back and look at the video. Hey, I'm sure you can see why we're so excited and why we wanted to share this information with you. You're talking to the audience now, whether it's the virtual audience or the live audience. My goal this evening was to identify the people that we're going to work with moving forward. I want to know who you are. I want to know the people who are open to a business opportunity, because what you've seen this evening is what I would like to do for you in the next couple of weeks. Remember, but we're talking about in the next couple of days. I need to change that script to the next couple of days is what I want to do for you. This will launch your business. Several of you I know are extremely interested in going to work with us. For those of you who are ready to go to work, sorry, I'm letting somebody in. For those of you who are ready, then you get into, let's go ahead, let's get online and get you enrolled. Have them pull out their computers, their phones or computer or tablet or whatever they have, go to your site, put your name or your ID in and get them enrolled right then and there. Right then and there. Don't do anything until you get those people enrolled right then and there. For those people who have some questions, this is what you're also saying. We're going to grab some refreshments together, and over the next 30 minutes or so, I'll be glad to answer your questions. What would you like for everyone to do? I'm sorry, what we would like for everyone to do, even if you're not getting started in the business, is at least try our products, try our service, try our coffee, enjoy the savings. Support my business, even if you're not going to do it for yourself. Here's a bag of coffee over here. Support my business. Buy this coffee. Buy this bottle of blood pressure support. Tell your cousin, you fat. Why don't you buy this what's it called? Oxyburn. This is a fat reduction product. You fat? Don't y'all say that. Don't y'all say that. I'm just playing. Don't say that. You can loosely offer them a bottle of Oxyburn. They can see on it themselves that is for fat reduction. All right. And so that's what you want to do. Get them enrolled right then or there. Now, SWAT team, remember, this is what you want to be doing, and we're closing out. Don't answer details or technical questions, SWAT team, because that's what we're going to do during the 30 minutes. By the way, let me go back to this previous slide. Notice I have here, for those of you who have some questions, we'll grab some refreshments together, and over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll answer your question. Here's Sam Oram. Y'all can do what you want, but here's Sam Oram's PBR. I did this, the very first PBR I did. If you don't have questions and you're not getting started, don't touch my food. It's for the people who have questions or getting started. You didn't come here to eat. If you don't have any questions and you're not getting started, you go to Popeye. My food is for the people who got questions. My food is for the people who getting started. I ain't feeding you no vision jokers. No. I'm serious, I'm not feeding you, but that's just me. Now, some people, seriously, they give refreshments from the time people come in. That's fine. Sometimes they give fresh refreshments when people leave. That's fine, or somewhere in between. So long as it's not a distraction to the meeting, because they didn't come there to eat. They came to get the presentation. But this is what this information I'm sharing with you. This was my presentation, and I only serve refreshments after the people who didn't see an opportunity left. Now we sit down, we're getting people enrolled, or we're answering questions. That's just me. Y'all can do it how you want to do it. Validate the opportunity by painting the big picture. We're talking about the SWAT team now. These are the people who are there to help the host. Validate the opportunity by talking about the big picture, painting the big picture of what we're doing, how we're helping people, how we're empowering people. Don't talk about anything negative. Y'all be amazed how many people that are in the business talk about something negative. 9 times out of 10 is something that they've done, but they're never going to put it on themselves. They're going to put it on the company. Child, I ordered my product and it's been 8 days and I ain't got my product yet. Do y'all realize that if you order something today and we send it out today or tomorrow, do y'all realize that once we send this to UPS or USPS or FedEx or whoever it may be, do y'all realize we can no longer control when they bring it? Y'all realize that? Do y'all realize when we get a product, depending upon if it's before 2 p.m. or after 2 p.m., that product is fulfilled either today or tomorrow by 1Voice. 9 times out of 10 it is. Once we have fulfilled that product goes to our fulfillment center, no matter what product it is, coffee, hot shot mild product, supplement, no matter what it is, because we don't have that stuff in-house anymore. It goes to our fulfillment center. Do y'all realize that once it goes to our fulfillment center, they process and all that stuff, it goes to FedEx, UPS, USPS. If it took 8 days, why are you blaming us? We processed it in 1 day. There's nothing we can do. But then you get in the corner, child, it took me, I still ain't got my immune defense. Well, what can we do about why are you dogging your own company? Why are you dogging your own company? And don't think we don't hear about it. We hear everything. We hear everything. Don't think we don't hear about it because somebody gonna come tell us you dogging our company. Don't do that. Don't do that. You only want to bring positive stuff and paint the big picture. Wow, I ain't get paid on this person. I thought I supposed to get a commission on this person. I ain't get my commission. That person ain't gonna ever tell you their credit card declined. That's why you didn't get paid. Sometimes yours declined. That's why you didn't get paid. We can't tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you that. So you gonna go out in public, child, I ain't get my commission this week. That's because your rep didn't pay their bill because their credit card was declined. Don't put that on us. Because I'm gonna start calling you out. Mr. Landry, Mr. Doucette, nice, but I'm gonna start calling you out. Watch and see. Anyway.
9, 8,
I know,
7,
right?
6.
I hear my mama from the grave and I count to 10. I'm not fussing. I'm really not. I'm not upset. I'm not fussing. This thing about to blow up. I'm just telling you, it's about to blow up. I don't even need to count to 10 because I'm just telling it like, yeah, I'm having a good time. But anyway, guys, nothing negative at your meetings. Okay. SWAT team, again, we're closing this out. Find out what the guests like about the presentation because you want to tell the guests, hey, look, they really interested in the coffee. So you want to tell the host, that, hey, look, this particular guest really interested in the coffee. You want to make sure you talk to him or her about the coffee. Find out what the guest interests are and give this information to the host. Hey, look, they're interested in building in not just in Atlanta, they want to build in Houston, right? Tell the host which guests are most interested. If somebody just fired up, they ready to go, they got the phone and they ready to get started. Make sure you put those people in front of the host. SWAT team, put those people in front of the host first. If somebody said, well, I'm not sure, I got to pray about it, I got to do all of these things. Yeah, that's great. But the person that want to get signed up, they need to be the ones that you bring up to the presenter first. Okay. Now, the host make notes and use this information also when they're calling the guests back. Remember, on another training, we're going to talk about how to follow up. I promise y'all, I'm not going to be. I know I've been deborn training from Mr. Doucette and Mr. Landry, so I apologize. I promise one of these weeks soon, maybe next week, I want to pass it back over to them. And they're going to talk about how to follow up, but that's going to be very important. Host, make notes of everybody that came to your meeting. Even if it was a no, make notes to follow up appropriately. SWAT team role is very important. So using the third party, that's one of the most effective ways to close the room. The SWAT team is very, very powerful. Remember, I've been setting y'all up for the last 3 weeks. When I tell you about getting on these presentations and trainings 10, 15 minutes earlier and conversing with each other, that's a SWAT team notion. That's what the SWAT team want to do. You want to make these people feel comfortable. You want to do those type things. Follow-up is important. Make sure you schedule your planned meeting after your urgent meeting. Follow up with people right away. Don't wait. Follow up right away. Schedule the guest for the next quick start training, which is probably on a Saturday, or the weekly presentation, which is this upcoming Tuesday. Use the follow-up three-way calls with your upline expert to make sure that you continue to reinforce everything that I talked about today. Okay, reinforce those things. So I'm going to close out. I'm going to have Mr. Landrum close out with a couple of things, and then I'll close out. But on this part with the planned PBRs, any questions on that whatsoever? Forget my rant and all the crazy stuff, but are there any questions about that? Are there any questions about the urgent? So again, I'm fully expecting, guys, everybody to do an urgent PBR over the next 24 to 48 hours. Build that to a planned PBR and just keep duplicating that with everybody in your team. It's so simple. You saw the simplicity of it. Now, I think something else that we've been having a challenge with, we've talked about this with humanity. We've been having a challenge with people's mindset. Something happened during COVID, I don't know, it's just people's mindset is a little shattered. People are just, I don't know, a lot of people have lost hope. A lot of people just feel down and desperate from a standpoint of they don't know what to do. When I was thinking about this during this presentation today, this training today, I also wanted to think about those people who are having challenges with just not really, they're just feeling stuck. I think that's the best way of thinking about it. They're feeling stuck. And that is a thing that we don't want to, I don't want to be dismissive. Sometimes I have a little bit of a flip mouth and I'm saying all this other kind of stuff. but most of the time it's said in jest. Understand and believe in the back of my mind, I'm conscious of and aware that a lot of people are genuinely stuck and they need help. If you cannot execute the things that I talked about today in terms of an urgent PBR, a planned PBR, and why you need to do it, if you still feel like you can't execute those things for whatever the reason, I think in some instances you want to have to give this business up, give your life up, give your relationship up to God. I really believe that. I want you sometimes you just have to give it up to God when you feel that stuck and you just cannot move no matter what I say, no matter what Mr. Landrum say, no matter what Mr. Doucette says, you just have to give it to God. I remember hearing Pastor Landrum talk about this probably 4 or 5 years ago. I internalize every sermon that Pastor Landrum talks about. And about 4 or 5 years ago, he talked about, what does it mean to give it to God? And if you're in a situation where you feel stuck, then you may have to give it to God. First of all, you want to ask God to give you the wisdom. I say this as well, but Pastor Landrum in his sermon said you want to ask God to give you the wisdom, because when you can't think clearly, you feel stuck. Sometimes you have to pray for just the wisdom to say what you need to say or do what you need to do, right? Pray for that wisdom. But then also you want to do something that he says is powerful, and he could give it to you better than me, but you always want to give God the acknowledgement. Give God the acknowledgement. What I took away from that, even for the things that have not manifested themselves in your life yet, that even hadn't happened yet, give God the praise, give God the acknowledgement. See, I notice everything, and I watch Pastor Landrum like a hawk because he's one of the few people that I follow without question, right? And one of the things, every now and then, I'll text him, like I'll listen to his podcast, or I'll listen to a sermon, or I will watch what he's doing with the business or whatever it may be. And I may just send him a quick text and, hey, bro, that was a great podcast, or that was a great message, or whatever. And all he texts me back every time, just 2 words: praise God. Praise God. He may not know that I'm paying attention, that he's always giving the acknowledgement to God. He didn't say, well, yeah, I did a great job on that podcast. No, he didn't say that. He just always texts 2 words: praise God. What that reminds me of that sermon 4 or 5 years. I want to say it was like 2019. I know it was before COVID when he had this sermon. He said, you always give acknowledgement to God. The other thing you always want to do is make sure that your will, this is not my words, this is what Pastor Landrum said. He said, you want to make sure that your will is equal to his will. That is God. Your will is equal to his will. So what does that mean? That means it's not my will be done, but thy will be done. You ain't doing this for you. A lot of times, I said this last week, there are some people in this business where they don't want to really commit to the business. They don't want to commit to their commitment because they don't want to inconvenience themselves, right? Well, you have to understand, if you really get to the root of One Voice, it's not about One Voice, it's not about me, and it's not about you. One Voice at its core is about how we empower people. So when we get into the notion that I don't want to convenience myself, or I don't want to commit to this, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to pay this, remember, you're not doing it just for you. One Voice is the empowerment of people. It is a personal development. It is a spiritual development company with a compensation plan attached to it. It is a personal development company. It is a spiritual development company with a compensation plan attached to it. So that means we're here to help people. We're here to empower people. I would have made infinitely more money had I never started One Voice. I've spent a ton of money, a ton of time, and got a ton of gray hair from doing this business. However, I know it's not about me. It is disguised as an opportunity, but it's the empowerment of people. So what does that mean? Well, from my perspective, when Pastor Landrum said it's not, my will or my will has to be equal to God's will, or not my will be done, but thy will be done, that means it ain't about you. It ain't about me. It's about thy will being done. Thy will be done. And then he said, you want to follow God's path. Follow that path. I remember Pastor Landrum saying one time, and this shook me. He was like, he said something to the effect, and I'll paraphrase it. Wonder if your life was like on a big screen so everybody could see everything you did. Your whole life was on a big screen. What would you do and what would you not do? When he said that, it shook me. It shook me. There's some things I don't want people to see. I don't want people to see on that big screen. I don't know, because I still knock a fella out. I'm like, no. But here's the point that he made, seriously, and behind that, and this has happened to me before, and God's honest truth. There have been situations and times where I said, I was thinking about doing something, thinking about saying something, and Jeff Landry popped in my mind. I'm like, what would Jeff think? And I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal because he wouldn't accept that anyway, but I'm just telling you what I learned from this particular. I mean, what would he think if I said that? What would he think if I did that? Now, sometimes I go off the deep rail. I don't care what nobody think about nothing, but at least now I have some kind of boundaries, a little bit to think, he wouldn't like that. So I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So follow God's path. Ask for direction. If you don't know what to do, this goes back to your business. This is why I'm spending the time telling you about this sermon that he did in 2019. If you don't understand urgent PBRs and planned PBRs and all of the things that I talked about today, and you still don't get it, you still feel stuck, then ask for directions. Pray for directions. Ask for directions, not from us, because nothing else we can tell you that I didn't tell you this morning. The only thing we're going to do is regurgitate the same thing that we've said. Now, if that's not resonating with you, you have to take it to a higher source. You have to take it to a higher source. Ask for directions, and then live in the expectations of what that answer will be. Live in the expectation. In other words, if you got to fake it till you make it, you got to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to put forth that effort. Praying alone is not enough. Praying alone is not enough. There is prayer, and then there is action. You got to put the work. You got to put forth an effort to do this urgent PBR, even if you don't know what to say. I'm telling you guys, I thought of everything before I did this training to take away every excuse. I can't think of any excuse that you can bring to me that will prohibit you from doing a urgent PBR within the next 24 to 48 hours. I can't think of anyone. So there are no excuses. Okay. And ultimately, Pastor Landrum said, and I'm about to turn it over to him. Ultimately, he said something to the effect of, at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, urgent PBR, planned PBR, building a business, building a company, empowering people, helping people, paying people, whatever, no matter what it is you're doing, the question you want to ask yourself is, and this is what he said, how can God get the glory? How can God get the glory? Give God the glory, because it's not ours. We didn't do it. We don't really, truly, for real, have the ability to do it. We have to rely on something bigger than us. So when you put that physical stuff in place, all the things that I talked to you about with your PBRs and VBRs, yeah. But then if you put the other part to it where you feel stuck and you pray and you do all of these things that I just shared from Pastor Landrum's sermon, there are no excuses. We can get it done. You can make it happen. We can make it happen. We just have to do it together. So I'm sorry for the long day of training and all this other kind of stuff. I will turn it over to Mr. Landrum to close out, or Mr. Doucette, or whoever have anything to share. But I'm expecting, guys, your level of expectation. I'm expecting great things from you guys. And in that expectation, once you have achieved, even before you achieve it, right now, those of you who will be obedient and do your PBRs within the next 24 to 48 hours, or your VBRs within the next 24 to 48 hours, right now, give God the glory. Right now, give him the glory. I pass it over to you, Pastor Landry.
Great stuff, everybody. Amazing. All right. Let's give Dr. Oram a great big hand. I mean, awesome stuff. Awesome.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
hey,
Thank you.
Mr. Landrum, Mr. Orm, can I
Yes,
speak
sir.
to something
ahead.
that I discovered? You're right, Mr. Orm, really no excuses, but I'm gonna give a thought. Sometimes we don't want to inconvenience other people also. Sometimes we have in mind what we know that person needs or wants. So we don't talk to them. Because I asked myself a question in a conversation. I said, would I share an opportunity with myself? And what I found is, based on what I know about myself, I probably would not, because I wouldn't feel like I needed an opportunity. But a lot of times we don't know what people need, but we already in our mind, that's what holds us back from sharing it, the opportunity with them, because we, like I say, I own a company, but they say, well, he don't need that because he's already this or that. So I want to point that out, that because I experienced it in a conversation where you already know what this person needs. So that's why you don't share the opportunity with them. But another thing, on that online presentation, I actually on the bus, you actually can register someone with their name and email address and send it, opposed to allowing them to register for the online presentation. You can actually send the registration to them. And that's what I did on the bus. And they was able to look at their, view the opportunity while, and that was a quick way of sharing the opportunity. I just want to point that out.
Absolutely. Good stuff. So the thing about it is, I often think sometimes people pass me by all the time. It was one person in my entire life before I got in this industry that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself and took a chance and sat down with me, shared with me what to do, how I need to do it. But they took an interest in me, and that was none other than our CEO and founder. All the people I've gone across, all the people I've ever encountered. And since that day, I've had a countless number of people try to get me involved in what they do. So when you just think about that, that's something to think about. But good information, everybody. Take this information to heart. We're getting ready to wrap up. But I did want to, it was my fault from last week that we did not